And joining us right now is Holly Gagnon, who is the CEO of the Seneca Gaming Corporation. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So not a lot of women in this industry, as we know.
Nope.
So how did you get involved and why?
I tell the story. It was happen chance. Way back in 1992, or actually 91, I had relocated to Connecticut and had a CPA and an MBA and was answering an ad, if you can believe it. There were ads in the paper for jobs for a head
I remember that.
for a head of internal audit, and it turned out to be Foxwoods Resort Casino, run by the Mashantucket Gaming Enterprise, and I guess the rest is history.
Wow. And so you've seen this industry evolve and change tremendously.
Absolutely.
What's one of the biggest changes you've seen?
How gaming is everywhere. I mean, I think that if you watch the growth of gaming and where it all started and how there were a few jurisdictions back then, 27 years ago, and before that, and then how it has become so widespread, and I think the general acceptance of casinos and some of the positive they do versus being kind of a scary industry to some people, I think that's been a really monumental change.
Right, and you're one of the founding members of Global Gaming Women, right?
I am.
And so what does this organization do?
So, at one point in time, that was a subset of the American Gaming Association, and there was a point in time when the decision was made that it would be better if it would be broken apart and become its own nonprofit. And so when we started, I think the goal was really to make sure that women in the industry had a place where a resource for education, a resource for networking, and it was really there to cultivate and promote women in the industry and get more people engaged in those leadership opportunities.
Yeah, and so how has your organization helped to maybe add more women in this industry?
So I am actually the chair of the mentorship committee. And I guess now it's 3 years ago, we actually instituted Lean In Circles, which is part of the Lean In organization from the book Lean In, obviously. And those circles, we have over 150 women active in those circles as peer mentors. And they're groups of about 8 to 10 women. And it's happening all over the country. And that's a big impact. Now, the other side is the education, the numerous scholarships that the organization provides to educational programs throughout the country. There is a conference in Mississippi. There'll be a conference in Florida, Atlantic City. There's a W conference out here in Las Vegas. So there's a lot of opportunities at different levels for leadership training and networking among peers.
So what's the goal then? What's the goal of this organization?
I think the goal is to get these women in a concentrated mass so that they can learn and talk and have that level of camaraderie. I do believe that it has been different to be a woman in this industry. I see it changing. I think at one point it was probably unheard of to see that there were senior women running properties on the Strip, and now two of my very good friends, one runs 5 properties on the Strip for MGM, one runs 4 properties on the Strip for Caesars. I think 15 years ago women thought that couldn't happen.
Yeah. So how are you received 27 years ago?
I guess I didn't notice. It's really kind of funny. I came up through the finance and IT side. And I think, I just worked really hard, and I was very fortunate. I had a lot of male mentors. There weren't females to mentor you at that time. I can name them. Some people have been very good to me, and I think part of it was just I performed well, and they gave me more opportunities. So there were those people out there championing women 27 years ago and giving you promotions.
Right. So how has that changed now? How are you received now in the industry?
I think there's a lot of camaraderie. I think that I've got a lot of peers. I used to work for Harrah's and Caesars and MGM. So I think through working through those organizations, I have a network of people that I've had the opportunity and fortunate opportunity to work with. And I think it's generally supportive.
So how is the stats right now as far as women in gaming Do we know? Are there?
I don't have a number. I do think it does parallel.
I feel like there's more. I feel like there's more women. I see tons of women in the forum.
There absolutely are more. And what I would say is I think a lot of industries are in the same boat and you look at the studies, and I know Lean In's coming out with some new numbers this week actually, where as you go up the ladder, a lot of industries are losing women in their participation of leadership. Now, whether it's they're deselecting being part of organizations at that level, or whether it's unconscious bias or opportunities aren't being extended, but the reality is the numbers at the very senior level aren't changing at the pace that they need to change, and particularly on boards of directors.
Right. I guess I was also asking too, specifically when you see not just women on the executive side, but on the consumer side, are we seeing more women in gaming?
Yeah, I think more than 50% of our consumers are women, and I think the studies do show that women make the travel decisions most of the time for their families. So, I think it's important to make sure, we have diversity on our boards, diversity at the senior level, because, you have to look at a problem from lots of perspectives to get the right solution. And I think people are missing out if they don't have that level of diversity. And diversity, it comes in a lot of different forms. It comes in attitude, it comes in age, it comes in gender, it comes in race. And so I think the more open-minded we are to our consumer base and making sure that we've got a product that they appreciate, the better we are.
So what do you see moving forward now?
Give me specifically.
So specifically in this industry, we see a lot of online gaming, we see a lot of digital.
Yeah.
What do you see moving forward when it comes to the casinos, when it comes to gaming in general?
I think that I'd like to believe that there will always be that place where experiential gaming in casinos is always a valued product, right? That people will come and stay and enjoy.
For the experience.
And the overall experience. I do think that there'll be if people want to gamble, there'll be other opportunities to gamble, whether that be online or whether it be in different locations. But I do think that it puts pressure, and a good pressure, on us to make sure that we've got a really compelling and interesting place to be.
It's interesting you say that, because I almost can see like a shift, even with the casino industry, when it comes to all the amenities they offer.
Yes.
Right?
Especially in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Especially in Las Vegas.
Yes. Especially in a place like this where if more than 50% of people who potentially are going to be gaming are women, they might be catering it toward a specific audience, obviously.
Right.
So it's not just a gambling experience, but it's also an experience to come, get away or go to a spa.
Absolutely. I mean, people come for entertainment, and we call ourselves, a lot of time when I fill out a form, it doesn't have casino industry, right?
Right.
And I say, well, I'm entertainment industry, right? We really do entertain and delight guests. Right. And so shows and all sorts of reasons to come visit and stay in our hotels. Absolutely.
All right, so great to meet you.
I know, and it's really, the show is off to a great start. Lots of people. It's a little bit of a homecoming, right? You see a lot of people you haven't seen in a while, so that's also good.
Yeah, I've never been to a convention like this, and we were just talking about, it's really remarkable to see all the different countries that are here. I've already interviewed people from Switzerland and
more so these days, right? I think with sports betting and everything, I see more of that international influence than you probably did 15 years ago.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they're using the U.S. as a model for what they want to take back to their own country when it comes to.
I think it works both ways. I think it works both ways. But it's an interesting show. I suggest that you wear flat shoes or bring them in your bag like I did.
Yes, I'm wearing a very high. Yes, I did.
Those are great shoes.
Thank you so much.
Be all girly on you.
I will show you at home what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
It's from the shoe.
It took a lot of courage to wear these here today.
Yes, and they're kind of high. So, I need to wear flats on this floor specifically.
I bring them in my purse. See, it's a survival technique.
Right. Well, just walking around in general, the floor,
carpet is all different.
The floor is
textures,
all different textures and all different lengths and stuff like that. I learned that when I was out there. But anyway, is there anything else you want to tell us?
I'm excited to be here. I think it's going to be a great show. For those people who are interested in global gaming women, I am part of the hosting. There is a Lean In breakfast It's actually sold out for this year, and I think we're going to have over 350 women at breakfast on Thursday morning, very early at 8 a.m. How crazy is that? Because there's lots of parties and things that go along with this.
You have to really pace yourself, don't you?
You really do. We're actually having people from the Lean In organization at the breakfast to talk about Lean In circles. So that's a really great thing. And if anybody wants to support it, it's a great group to support.
Thank you so much, Holly.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.